ook iets, hè? Wakker worden is nou eenmaal niet altijd een leuk iets in deze wereld. Maar als je verandering wil brengen, dan zul je op de treurige dood moeten leven. Dat verklaart ook, denk ik, waarom we begraafplaatsen niet goed. Welcome, 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 my lovely brothers and sisters. Welcome to, for me, the last book reading for today. I've done 3. Spirit told me to do 3 live book readings today. I'm not doing this every day because it's quite a thing to do. As you can see, we are going to discuss something that was in actuality also spoken about and spoken of in the book Earth, which is a book written by Barbara Marciniak and also it was actually a collaboration between her and her sister and someone else, and in which they collected all the information that Barbara got from a group of Pleiadians. And I truly can see in the reading that these beings really were and still are working with her, very respectful, and the way they bring the information is absolutely not in comparison with all other channeled stuff and so on that is there to lure us into things that has nothing to do with what we need to know. All right, the topic is in actuality Tiamat, better known as Earth, is our home. I prefer to speak the name Tiamat because this is also that my DNA genetics are in actuality very much responding on and to this name, knowing that this planet that we live on is in actuality one of the many pieces of the original Tiamat, who is our home. Earth, and thus Tiamat, is our home, and no one has the right to take her away from us, nor to lure and manipulate us into a morbid, evil, dark, sinister singularity / metaverse that changes and destroys the entire Earth and all life forms here, including us. We need to remember whom we are. How can we remember whom we are if we are still allowing ourselves to be derailed and distracted by all sorts of noise from the outside? We need to remember ourselves, which means we need to say that we remember Tiamat. We need to say that we remember the divine creatrix who is the divine feminine. We need to start to remember this. We need to start communicate with our spirit, and with spirit in and around us. Um, Tiamat is a living library. We humans are so tremendously caught up in a gaslighting, better said, in a deep, deep hypnotic, comatose sleep. The majority is still in. And it is about time that we see that we are terraforming this world into something that is completely based on death and is in actuality terraforming into a, yeah, I want to say it just like as it is, machine world, a world that is a representation of the astral realm machine kingdom. And it is about time that we start to realize that we are terraforming this earth, Tiamat, in into someone else's sick-minded dream and agenda. And not only from one being, but two. One is called Enki and the other one is called Marduk. Both have no best interest in us at all. Both are on a war path against Orion. Both want to destroy all life on this world, in this world, on this world. Both want to transform this world into a machine kingdom. Yeah, as it is already in the lowest of the lowest band of the astral realm. I felt deeply in my heart and in my soul to read a piece of this book, Earth, Pleiadian Keys to the Living Library. And I will see if I can manage it, the whole chapter, but we need to wake up. We need to come back to nature. We need to make connection with nature again. We need to quit with being 24/7 on devices. We need to realize that all these devices are attached to frequencies that are constantly triggering the dopamine center in our brains so that we became addicted to all these devices. And not everyone is thankful that heavily tremendous addicted, but the younger generation is. And we as former generations need to help them to become more and more disconnected from television, computers, laptops, mobile phones, which are not phones at all, but nothing more than military devices. They are weapons. They are remote controllers that is connected to the World Wide Web and are connected to all the Internet of Things through the mobile. They can control us, manipulate us, and have us in a constant state of distraction and derailment. All these so-called programs on the television tell a vision, and you also have the word lie in it. Um, The television is the biggest weapon used against humanity. Humanity, well, from what I start seeing, is more and more seeing this planet and all life forms on this planet as things, as objects, and objects that you can do everything with what you please to do with. Um, but this is not the case. Each tree, each flower, each insect, each animal is a living library. They contain and hold specific information for us so that we can evolve, so that our soul can evolve, and not only on personal level, but as an entire soul group, and not only we as a soul group, but also through us other life forms as well, such as animals. So let me start reading some passages from it. And I also want to say, since I do these book readings, especially the ones that are too confronting, seemingly for many, um, I want to say there is no time anymore to avoid things, to have your ears closed and to have your fingers in your ears and be this ostrich that has its head in the sand. This time is gone. There is no time for such foolish gameplays anymore. We need to grow up and we need to face the reality. We need to face the fact that we are all participants in the destruction of this world. You cannot blame fingers to an Enki or a Marduk only, or to the oligarchs, the Elites, or cabal only. We all have a part in this. We all play a role in the destroying and destruction of this world. And we need to take responsibility. We need to start finger pointing to ourselves first and take our part um, and in it, and start to pick up the pieces and and start seeing our part in this whole destruction. All right, it is chapter 4, and it's titled "Earth is Your Home." Understanding Earth and the secrets that lie within her involves mastering the riddles inside yourself, especially the portions that are hidden in the roots of your subconscious self. I want to add to this that it is of great importance to prioritize your life and to really see what is of great importance to do. Following television is not of any great importance. Following the news, neither, because media is paid to derail us, to distract us, to keep us in fear, um, to make us fearful for death and whatever. Yeah, so following the media is of no use. Following all these horror stories of the EP files and whatever is of no use in that matter. They are not revealing all the files. Why? Because it is so horrific that you cannot cope with this. Um, if you if you watch a documentary such as Hellstorm, which I have watched, and I can say that my stomach was rolling over several times of the great horrors that I saw that humans did to one another. So what is of more importance? What is of more importance is to dive into yourself, Make connection with your spirit. Make connection with the soul fire in you. Speak to your body, speak to your soul fire, speak to your spirit. That is of great importance. Go into nature, touch flowers, grasses, speak to them. Say, here I am. I want to listen to you. Help me to get a better understanding of myself, who I am. Start remembering things. Say to your spirit, I want to remember who I am. Say to your divine soul fire in you, I want to know who I am. I want to remember this. And then a process can start up. Your DNA is also something you can speak to. Speak to your DNA. Say to your DNA, I want to know, who am I? I want to remember. They have deliberately closed the other 10 strands of us. Yeah, and then made us believe that these other strands were junk DNA, but they are not junk DNA. They who want to control us do not want us to use the rest of our DNA. And on top of that, they also have locked us with a double helix. This double helix is nothing more than a lock to keep us bounded to this frequency fence that we in togetherness keep alive by following all the distractions and derailments and programs that they who want to control us are spoon feeding us. Yeah, all the drama in the outside world is deliberately crafted, created, and instigated to have us away from our spirit, so that we do not make connection with our spirit. The ruinification of nature is deliberately done so that we cannot make connection with the living library that nature is. This planet is our home. And again, no one has the right to take this planet away from us. No one has the right to manipulate us and to lure us into destructive, evil agendas that is only there for someone else and are not in our best interest at all. We need to wake up that we are being tremendously abused and misused. And not in the physical, also in the spiritual sense. They are using our life force. Jobs are nothing more than slave labor. The money that people get from this labor is in no way what you in actuality should be able to get each month. It is far too less. All right, but in actuality, is it of great importance to have a job? Is that also not part of the whole scheme and illusion? All right, I continue. As your journey continues, you will discover the roots of your human identity here on Earth. Earth is your home. Earth is our home. And what I say, in actuality, it is Tiamat. Soon you will realize that you share this home with a myriad of curious life forms aside from those you currently recognize and agree upon. Opportunity for enriched growth and personal announcement will be found by exploring both your human roots and your stellar ancestry. as they are stored and recorded and felt here on earth, not only in earth, also in our DNA and in our divine soul fire too. At this point in time, we speak to you as a dweller on earth whose genetic lineage is rich, vital, and intimately connected with many other realities. We, the Pleiadians, remind you that there is far more to this home of yours than you have been taught. Be open to the story of your lineage. As collectives of race and culture, you have far more in common than you suppose. As a journeying entity, you were called and imposed to explore Earth as a place within this solar system that serves to stage life and is a home for ancestral codes. So we have referred to Earth as the living library. Every single element here on earth contains information for us from nature, animals, the sea animals, everywhere where we are has information. If you sit on a rock or you have it in your hands, you can make connection with it. It houses information. We have referred to Earth as the living library, a biogenetic center where vast quantities of data are stored as incomparable translations and tools for the creation of life. This data exists in patterns beyond what you can fathom at this time. And know that this book was written in 1994, so it's quite a time ago. Earth is a birth house where life is created and experienced. Traditionally, parenting on your planet has to do with a biological process in which two people of opposite gender come together to create life. However, you are now experimenting with making life in laboratories, so you are challenged to expand and consider that perhaps there are different ways to parent and create life. Recollect for a moment the idea that the game masters, as the Pleiadians call them, I call them the controllers because that is in actuality what they also are so-called parents of civilizations by means of conceptualization. They create and hold thought forms and then proceed to distribute untold plans to draw meaningful life unto their creation. They experience the web of existence as a force and field of unlimited awareness that is intelligent and responding. You may perhaps conceive of this as prime creator. So they call the divine feminine a prime creator. Remember, we do our best to create stories from which you can evolve. We offer concepts for releasing yourself from invisible root assumptions inherited as beliefs and manifested as unqueried facts. Please expand your concept of Earth. Earth is unique in existence because life can be manufactured here, which is one reason it is attractive. Perhaps you are aware of those who watch over your home and experience it as a place to visit and play with reality. This is your recognition of yourself. You are becoming aware of yourself as a, so to say, game master, experiencing Earth as a native within your own creation. Recollect the concept of being this game master. We are in actuality creators ourselves. creating civilizations, then becoming immersed within their construct of reality, only to awaken to this knowledge. Because we are, in actuality, if all our 12 strands of DNA would be completely active, then we would wipe out all these controllers in a blink of an eye. And if all our 12 strands of DNA were activated, then we would be tremendous creators ourselves. Only to awaken to this knowledge. Earth in terms of time is quite ancient, and there are stories concerning her that have long been buried and hidden away. The ancestral lineage currently revealing itself involves trigger points and events from approximately 500,000 years ago that proceeded to punctuate themselves throughout various experiences in time. Sumerian records hold numerous keys for expanding an understanding of your ancestral lineage, and these Sumerian records are, of course, not the only records. The records maintain that for eons a caste of celestial characters with multiple agendas graced the stage of Earth, also known as Tiamat. These ancient records recall a time hundreds of thousands of years ago when two ruling brothers called Enki and Enlil/Marduk were in charge of the Project Earth, or better said, Enki and Enlil. Yeah, Enlil is also Ninurta. Marduk is a so-called, between quotation marks, son, S-O-N, of Enki, but so-called. So Enki and Enlil. Yeah, Enlil is Ninurta, but Ninurta is not here on Earth. He is in the Orion, or better said, Aryan universe. Enki is in the lowest of the lowest regions of the astral realm, known as Apsu, or the abyss. The one that is roaming over Earth is the so-called son of Enki, Marduk. Yeah. Two ruling brothers, Enki and Enlil, they were in charge of the Project Earth. And this is also being stated by Wes Penry and many others, by the way. These visitors, called the Anunnaki, came to Earth from the heavens and played for so-called God with small letters. They created what they wanted on Earth, based on their own intentions. Among other things, they came in search of gold. Please understand there are many things here on Earth that can be taken and announced in the homes of others. Earth is home to many keys in the galaxies, and it is more than simply your home. You are the caretakers, those who dwell on Earth. The visiting gods, so to say, from above, the Anunnaki, came to Earth and began to take products from this home to their home. Their purpose was to experiment with life and create humans to dwell on Earth. These so-called gods are your ancient parents, having seeded a version of Earth's genetic line with their influence. When you choose to dwell on Earth, you know that part of the program is to discover sovereignty and free will within a biogenetic cosmic experiment. And this is also what Wes Penry is telling us, that in actuality, the human soul group was created for an experiment, and this experiment was based on this, if we would be able to um, develop compassion and love for one another. Because if we would be able, then this would be the blueprint for many planets, for many worlds. And through this, then finally, the the war gene, so to speak, could be overridden through empathy and loving one another. So this is the experiment that we are still in. We need to create compassion, empathy, and love for one another. If we succeed in this as an entire soul group, then this will be the blueprint for many planets and worlds, so that then finally this whole warring shall stop. And finally, peace can come in this universe, in this spiritual universe. Numerous anthropological discoveries offer clues to your past through old skeletal forms. The forms depict a human album of change throughout the last few million years. These archaeological discoveries portray what your scientists call stages of human development or evolution. Um, Assuming that human life was the same everywhere. In actuality, gods created various experiments employing the genetic material stored here in the library. A prime characteristic of this particular area of existence is the exploration of what is possible. Most crucial for you to consider is the concept of the gods as parents. Consider who they are as well as who you are in relationship to the stellar energies that are asking to be recognized. Understanding Earth and the secrets that lie within her involves mastering the riddles inside yourself, especially portions that are hidden in the roots of your subconscious self. Objects of import can be hidden in the ground of Earth as well as deep within layers of energy inside your own being. So feel Earth as your home and act on making it a better place. Acknowledge that you, as a biological being, have the emotions, feelings, and intuitional knowledge that connects you to Earth. So your biology establishes roots that keep you connected with who you are. As you learn to tune into Earth, you will feel the changes transpiring. Earth is providing you with an opportunity to extend the knowledge of your roots and to connect to the very essence of life, where you have come from. Who are your creator parents who conceived of you, then made you? The Sumerians understood the visitors from the stars who for hundreds of thousands of years influenced and played with experiments of life on each continent. Purposeful interaction and commerce between representative experiments was often limited, so these so-called gods changed their names and created new sounds as they moved from one continent to another. With this said, creating new sounds means also language. Yeah, language is sound, is a tonal. Altering the biogenetics of life to see what could be done. The gods watched and participated with their creations on earth, accruing their own lessons through the laws of cause and effect. The Sumerian culture, considered by most experts to be the cradle of civilization, flourished about 6,000 years ago in an area called Mesopotamia, located between the ancient waters of the Tigris and the Euphrates rivers, in modern-day Iraq and Kuwait. This civilization was rediscovered in the last century. The area where it thrived is a political hotspot in late 20th century Earth. So now we get a deeper understanding of why the things are going on in the Middle East. It is not what the mainstream media is telling us. Where war and many disruptions of power and value of life persist. The Sumerian culture was directed by those who came from the stars, the stellar reptilian ancestors. They were establishing a civilization once again, creating one more experiment to look at what could be done with the biological forces of Earth. Ancient myths and legends, hundreds of thousands of years old, us, sorry, tell us of the serpents slash or not slash comma dragons and reptilian visitors. So ancient myths and legends, hundreds of thousands of years old, tell of the serpents, comma, dragons, and reptilian visitors from the skies. For eons, these creation stories were conveyed orally through the generations, and we all know what happens when something is orally brought forth. If you tell a story to 10 people, you say it to the first person then says it to the second, but in the transmission from the first person to the second person, something already misses. Yeah, and then the second person is telling the story further to the third person, and also the second person leaves things out. And so at the end, person number 10 gets a story that is not really complete, as the first person you told to the first person. Yeah, so this is also one of the ways how distortion came into these ancient texts, but also in the stories that still need to be dug up. So for eons, these creation stories were conveyed orally through the generations. Momentous events were recalled through the spoken word and passed down to groups of people gathered to hear or see dramatizations of the ancestors. Much later, the special moments were captured by the Sumerians on their famous cylinder seals, devices that recorded selected aspects of reality in pictorial form. Today, these seals furnish clues to significant symbols. The symbols are depicted as artifacts on cylinder seals, though actually they are keys in form, comma, revealing another language of intent. They are keys, cultures all over the planet carried inner truths that are not spread to the masses. This was done to gain power over others. So the gods kept themselves in power by authorizing a few rather than empowering all. So here the Pleiadians are speaking of the creation of these so-called secret societies. And they are not the only one who uh, are speaking in terms like this of the creation of the first so-called secret societies. So this created a hierarchy of separation, which is part of the great misunderstanding that continues to plague you today. People all over your planet, including Aborigines, Maya, Incas, natives of North and South America, groups on the European continent and throughout Africa and Asia, all embrace the idea of dragons or serpents as the creators of life. Dragons could breathe fire, and though some were feared, others were credited with bringing power, prosperity, and life. Over time, myths and stories were changed and rewritten according to who was in charge and what purpose was desired. You can understand the nature of these mythical beings by looking at these tales to see whether they conveyed a sense of power to the people or implied that the few had power over the many. Imagine yourself living in a vastness of time in which years in your terms are mere moments. What would you do to occupy yourself? What kind of virtual realities would you create to peek into now and again? If you had the ability to access the keys of genetics and to make life, what would you as a human do with that much freedom, spare time, and knowledge? The reptilian race, or Lysis, as we affectionately call them, are an integral part of your ancestral line. They are an awesome, ferocious, and gracious collection of consciousness, for they are many things combined into one. These reptilians are important for you to understand as aspects of existence that connect you to the deep taproot of your own heritage, your past. In order to grow further into understanding yourself as a blossoming entity on the wheel of life, unfolding into the story of 12, it is essential that you understand your home, which means earth, yeah, or Tiamat, your roots and your genes. Understand that the reptilian energies are creator GODs. They are master geneticists who assisted the original planners in designing the living library. And here it refers to the divine feminine creator or creatress, better said. They are an ancient race and are very advanced in creating sentient biological forms. They were some of the prime instigators in putting together the human species on this planet. They learned their craft from the ancient ones as master geneticists, Lysis know their trade. They are highly skilled in genetic organization and manipulation. They far surpass many brilliant beings in their ability to genetically adjust life. So, in the vastness of existence, the reptilian families are known to be creators and are responsible for organizing the genetic structure of life forms. These ideas offer you something to feel, dear friends, as you contemplate this subject. Search out the branches of your ancestral tree. Consider the journey through the reptilian family as a key to take you deeper into your roots. Reptilian influences lies at the core of your biological structuring, and today these creatures are returning to your conscious awareness. They appear as toys and characters in movies and on television as stylish depictions in advertisements, lending their name to all who dare remember. They spring forth from the subconscious as a part of the self that needs to be expressed and understood, comma, loved, comma, healed, comma, integrated, and also accepted. Your spiritual and biological selves hold the key to this process. At one time, far back in its own history, the reptilian family was a very benevolent and uplifting race. There are still some leftovers of this, what they are saying. There are indeed reptilian groups that do not like what their fellow brothers are doing. Yeah. The ones who do not go along with the agendas of the aggressive reptilian groups among them, um, they are in actuality the most ancient ones among all the reptilian groups. I know this from a person in Denmark who told this, and who also told there are several groups active. You have those with a red band, the red back, the blue backs, the green, the yellow backs, and another one. And it seems that the yellow and the blue backs are in actuality the most aggressive ones. Members of this family came to Earth and were deeply involved with creating the living library. However, they eventually created civil war among themselves and amongst other representatives of the Creator God collection. The wars were all based on separation from each other to gain power. Remember, part of your journey as evolving humans is to understand that you are separate, unique, classic human creatures with free will. You are discovering other separate, unique, classic creatures with free will and realizing that you are all one. We are all coming from the Prime Creator. It is time to acknowledge the vastness and the vast uniqueness of intelligence as untold creatures reveal themselves to your world, stripping away the barriers to inner truths. The ancient reptilian ancestors, once they are recognized and acknowledged as being in existence, can be freed by you from the role they have been playing. You are multi-dimensional creatures, and one version of yourselves is this one on earth as human beings. Simultaneously, in another version of reality, you can also be these very beings that have influenced you. You can move into and experience an identity where you are these creatures and feel their dilemma, their restriction within their own paradigm. As your beliefs about yourselves and your own home are altered, leading to a new sovereignty, you affect your roots in all directions. In past present and future. You are intimately linked to the vast web of existence. And as you change, the significance of your thoughts sends new impulses through the web as possibilities to all aspects of existence. As Pleiadians, we hold a broader view of reality than you currently do, and we are here to share it with you. We have an open ticket, a gold card, so to speak, into a Renaissance fair taking place throughout the cosmos. We can tell you what we see. You often think that what we convey is the whole fair, when what we share are simply the quirks and corners of an immense event, emphasizing particularly curious and significant areas. You do not understand that this is one big now. Chaos and free will may seem to rule, and yet through this very process, energies are scrambled and then reconnected to experience the innate value and inevitable cooperation of life. So remember, we do not intend to over divine your reality. We intend to convey key vista points where you can stop and take in good views. Looking at the biological aspect of existence will help you comprehend the scenery ahead. On your inner tour of your family tree, the reptilian consciousness as a branch of your ancestral line is well worth acknowledging. Without it, a loop of experience as a stage of development is missing in assisting you to understand your roots, where you are going, and what you have come from. For some of you, the idea of a reptilian heritage carries quite a charge of fear. This fear has actually been put upon you, so you would not discover where you have sprung from. For ages, your reptilian ancestral line has had a need to keep itself from your conscious mind. There has been many a detour in thought and reality seeding by the so-called invisible influences that share your world. Today, reptilian memories surface from your subconscious self as dreams, vague ideas, symbols, and past life scenarios, all essential links to patterns of human behavior. Memories are buried in your cells and you are not quite sure what's there. So feel your body and imagine your spinal column, your chakras and 12 strands of DNA as a tree of life growing upward. At the bottom of the tree there is a serpent like a taproot connecting you to earth. Imagery will help you get in touch with your reptilian ancestry so you can have a neutral look without labeling anything. Visualize the serpent energy climbing your tree, rising up your body, electrifying you as a member of the reptilian family. Serpent images trigger cellular memories of the gods who made you, showing you that you sprang from the serpent and that the serpent brings you life. It seems that the actual meaning of the serpent symbol has to do with wisdom. So knowing this, we can say that, yeah, we need to undo ourselves from all the things that has been taught to us, uh, and undo us from all fears that we have created against beings, things, and whatsoever. Clues and indications of reptilian ancestry abound, carved and formed in stone. They can be seen as symbols at numerous sacred sites and at places, okay, and at places along the great ley lines of Earth. Serpent, dragon, and reptilian myths and legends lie at the core of the intimate understanding and principal teachings of almost every indigenous culture. The serpent, reptile, and dragon portray powerful influences as totems, often highly misunderstood. They are revered nonetheless as ritual symbols that acknowledge power and where people have come from. In the modern world, your medical profession still uses the caduceus, and which is an ancient symbol depicting intertwining serpents around a staff as an indication of the roots of its heritage. Sometimes the ancient reptiles that your myths call dragons hoarded crystals. Crystals are senders and receivers of information. Many of the highest civilizations were anchored by reptilian energies who had access to the human blueprint and carried this human blueprint from another system into this one. The reptiles did this by bringing a tremendous amount of crystalline energy and hoarding, collecting and storing it inside lairs or caves as underground bases of operation. Then they send versions of themselves to the outside world as their representatives, very often in the form of snakes. We have been so, we are misunderstanding so many things, and I am in a new layer of discovering myself, and I'm in a new layer also of undoing everything that does not make sense anymore. And through this journey, uh, I come to the conclusion that we have been made fearful for things that we should not be fearful for. Um, this whole idea of paganism, um, that is this fear for it, this antagonisticness to where paganism is deliberately done. And I think that we should stop seeing paganism as such, because in actuality, um, they were people that were honoring the mother goddess in a way that was quite natural to do, and also through their rituals and singing and dancing that they did and still are doing, because pagans, shamans are also thrown on the same mountain as to say. Um, Shamans are also placed in the group of pagans, but paganism is in actuality a group of people that is able to use dance and voice in such a way so that they could connect with the divine creatress, and through this gain information that the tribal needed to know, but also the human soul group needed to know. It was the only way they could enter the outside world without being harmed. If they had come out in their dragon nature, the consciousness of the existing humans at the time could not have withstood the encounter. Today you are exploring wider points of view and grander belief systems. As you consider reality, it begins to bend in your direction. The vitality of Earth is waiting to be discovered by you. She can provide you with a greater abundance in life if you can understand who Earth is. Who is Tiamat, also known as Earth? Um, She can be thought of as the mother goddess, as an aspect of existence that provides, nurtures, feeds, and nestles you. She is your home and your mother, the source from which you have come. Um, yeah. Imagine so yourself unbounded with an opportunity at every turn, and this is what you will create. So set up limitations and you will find them. Remember, you effortlessly attract the energies that support your version of life. Every moment that you believe in yourself creates momentum through which you will continuously blossom light and brilliant alternatives of living. This process involves growing into the recognition of yourselves as an equal to your stellar family. Many people would like to abandon Earth at this time, as if she is no longer a worthy place to live. Angry voices do not like the conditions of the cities or the water, as if the earth herself created these conditions. We would say to you, what better place would you find? Your home is what you make of it. This is a very important sentence. Your home is what you make of it. Without the cooperation of Earth, there are many things you cannot have. Unpredictable weather patterns have become the norm. Flash floods and surprising events appear out of nowhere. Reality can no longer be charted as reliable and consistent. As a human, a recurring theme throughout the events in your life is your sense of irresponsibility and victimhood. So many people are still in this victimhood. So many people are lacking to take up responsibility. You repeatedly return to the core assumption of human powerlessness. You have accepted beliefs of victimhood and powerlessness for far too long time. Make a commitment to Earth to open your heart and transform your home. It is crucial to shift your consciousness into the domain of responsible living. You scurry over Earth's surface, waiting for what is owed you next in the form of monies, goods, and services, forgetting that the cooperation of Earth as a stable, reliable place to live is essential. Your challenge within the global blueprint of intent is to realize that Earth is alive and that you must take care of Earth and get along as a family. The reenactment of lessons for responsible living will accelerate in the theaters of human drama, returning with an encore of what you have set into motion. If you do not like where you dwell, then re-evaluate and speak to Earth with all your heart. Speak with the cells of your being. Pull light through you and say to Earth, it is my intention and my pleasure to experience you to the fullest of my capacity in this lifetime. I am asking you, Great Earth, to help and assist me in locating a place of comfort, joy, safety, and adventure. A place where I can come to know myself and to know you as home. Earth knows who you are. Therefore, it is a good idea to speak to her and acknowledge her. Many of you are very disturbed by the masses of people that continue to choose to kill and go to war. We remind you that those who believe in this experience will create it and seek it out. You can exist in a parallel reality simultaneously with this and not attract it to yourself. There is a great cleansing that is occurring and you cannot stop it. The energy of Earth is being sped up so that those energies with which you vibrate in the core of your being and those truths you discover from your ancestral line, you will manifest forward. It is a traumatic time because it seems as if the systems that represent family and civilization are falling apart. Those systems that do not work are indeed falling apart, and you will be rattled to the core of your being to find something that will work and that values Earth. If you cannot take care of your home, then perhaps you do not deserve one. So if you cannot take care of your home, then perhaps you do not deserve one. And home is not the home that you are daily sitting in and sleeping in, but also home earth. Yeah, earth is our home. You have in your world numerous systems that support taking care of others. Caretaking is a noble process indeed. Often, though, if you continue to catch fish for others, they become dependent on your fishing. It is best to teach others how to fish for themselves and how to garden and grow food. Often those who continue to take care of others get caught up in the role of providing and mistake this for their identity and purpose. The gods, your ancestors, to a certain degree, got trapped in this. They became empowered in their own game as their creations adored and existed for them. But the gods eventually found that they were trapped, that they could go no further. It is best to give away what you discover to enhance the environment of Earth and the family of humankind. So we revert to Earth as a home, a place that you need to commit to. Remember, it is a home for many beings. You share your reality with forms of life that you have yet to meet. This is part of Earth's revelation to you. How many parallel dimensions exist within the same space as you? Who are the energies or entities that can move through these dimensions? Many of the myths and legends that are dismissed because there is no validation for them are the true stories of your home. Earth is a priceless jewel, and you are considered by many to be the integral key to this gem. Yet, in your own misguided sense of purpose, you have sought to exalt the self without honoring the stage from which you can explore life. Conflicts exist within the mass consciousness as to what the priority is today. Many people will lose and or give up their homes in the next few years, bringing you closer together so that you may experience humanity as one big family. When you unite, perhaps through challenging situations, you also will understand those who have been outside your family. These other forms of life who are waiting to be integrated as the dimensions open up will reveal the immense creativity and variety of reality. And eventually, I also am more and more working myself for several years now to this point that I eventually will give up everything and go traveling around um, with my bike and some, yeah, nice camper. I call it my tiny mobile home behind my bike, and go travel, take my kitties with me, and just go and explore the world, meeting people, and see the world as it is with my own eyes instead of seeing the pictures from mainstream media. And with this, also meeting other people and have interesting conversations with them. The teaching of Earth is ready to unfold to you because you are now at the pivotal stage of understanding it. You are redefining your home, and this is sensed by Earth. She releases her codes and stories, knowing, there are humans who are seeking what I have. Think about what you want. Earth reads you. She is a living biological entity. She is alive. Earth needs you in the same way that you need the billions of bacteria that live inside your body, performing functions that operate without your conscious directive. One isolated microorganism could be quite toxic. However, together they know what to do. They do not poison you, they eat everything so that you do not die. If they were not inside you, the food you eat would not pass through you. You tolerate these so-called toxic beings that live in you, and actually you cannot live without them. So, in the same fashion, Earth cannot live without you and all of life. Earth cannot live without us humans and all of life. It is here on Earth where life is made. In this solar system, Earth is the home of life, the grand laboratory where life is created. Please understand the purpose of loving Earth, for her response will be to release to you everything that you need to be at home here. Imagine Earth restored to her uh, regal beauty. Stately trees seem to brush the deep blue sky, and clouds below to form majestic peaks. The songs of the birds fill the air, creating a beautiful, magnificent symphony upon symphony, each one orchestrated for the moment. Learn to feel alive. Discover meaning to your life as you explore the aspect that is stored away as your subconscious self. Send your taproot like a serpent into Earth's records and call back to your mind a majestic Earth as a home for you, the rightful dweller in this place. And with this said, I have come to the end of reading this magnificent chapter called Earth is Your Home, Earth is Our Home. What I say, Tiamat, because that is the actual name, because again, this planet is a piece of the original Tiamat. And that is why we see also petrified trees, mushrooms, animals, humans, because of this cosmic galactic war that took place a long time ago. All right, I truly hope sincerely that the message of what I have read to you will sink into your heart, soul, and mind, that you will ponder upon it, and that you start to realize that we humans are the only ones who can change the situation that is now going on for a far too long time here on Earth. It is about time that we start detaching ourselves from all these instigated and carefully crafted fear mongering information, and um, and that we start to reconnect ourselves with Earth again, with the forests, with the trees, with everything that is now being in a rapid pace killed off. So thank you so much for listening along, for tuning in through Facebook, through Rumble, through YouTube. Thank you so much for taking your time to listen to this message. And yeah, I hope that this message also touches your heart deeply as it did mine, and that your soul, your divine soul fire, is also very much touched by this information, as my divine soul fire is being touched by this information tremendously. All right. Again, I wish you all a beautiful evening filled with a lot of joy, love, wisdom, and truth and revelations, all coming from your own spirit, your divine soul fire, your DNA. All right, let us listen to a short piece of music coming from band Sound, um, which is called Hope. Thank you so much, and see you the next time.